Live from New York, it's Ask This Engineer.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another Wednesday night Ask Engineer. It's me, Ladyada the engineer. We're broadcasting live from Adafruit headquarters, downtown Manhattan, where we do all the design, manufacturing, shipping, electronics, debugging, right here.
Nothing like it.
This is where we're doing it. This is for real. This is the real thing. And with me is Mr. Ladyada, also known as the Winter Soldier, who is on camera control and typing in the chats, and we're broadcasting on 5 different...
I heard Captain America has been a double agent for Hydra all this time. I'm so upset.
Jeez. Okay, touched a sore spot there.
Just a rumor.
Yeah. So we're broadcasting on 5 networks?
Yeah.
Twitch, Ustream, YouTube, Facebook.
Oh, we didn't do Periscope, so
Not Periscope,
4.
so 4. Still quite a lot. So you can watch us on a wide arrangement of streaming networks.
ABC, NBC, Animal Planet.
Discovery, History Channel.
Yeah.
All right, so what's on tonight's show?
On tonight's show, the code is Charlie Wing. Save 10% off in the Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Show and tell. People showing and sharing science projects from around the world. We'll talk about that and more. That was a really neat show and tell. Mailbag going to stop by. The packet's actually an envelope. The packet is part of the mailbag. I'll explain later. Adafruit.com/jobs, the best place online for makers to share their skills and for companies to find cool makers. Time travel, a look back in the world of hackers, makers, artists, and engineers. 3D printing, some great videos and more from Noam Pedro. New products, some amazing new things from the mind of Ladyada. We're going to answer your questions. Remember, trivia question, all that and more on, you guessed it, you're watching it, you're here. Ask an Engineer.
That's true. It's like they know where they're getting into because they are watching this.
Yep.
Okay.
You can tell by the watermark. Okay.
I know, confusing.
So, okay. So let's talk some discounts. Charlie Wing.
What discounts did we have?
Well,
for them?
it's Charlie Wing. It's 10% off in the Adafruit store up to almost midnight tonight.
Is it off everything in the store except for software and gift certificates?
Yeah, that's you've heard. You've read that on Wikipedia. So, anyways, we are viewer supported. So that's actually the only way that we can keep this going on is for you all to buy some electronics, and we have this discount code, which makes it easier. It's so much fun to type in the discount code because
you
you're
can
like
spend 10% less,
so much money,
or get 10% more if you spend the same amount. Either way.
Do you think we should have a reverse code where you can pay 10% more if you just?
Cards Against Humanity did that.
Oh, right.
Remember that? They said
right.
you could. It's
Darn.
an anti-discount. I mean, it's okay if we didn't come up with it. We didn't come up with the idea of a discount.
I'm bummed
coupon.
that I thought of it, and then it's like, oh yeah, because Cards Against Humanity kind of came up with everything.
They kind of did everything.
Okay.
Oh, they're cool kids.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, they don't have free UPS ground in continental USA like we do for $200 or more, but we do. And if you're in New York, we have same day delivery if you order before 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and you see it on checkout. 2 select zip codes in New York City. Okay. And programming note. We always got to do this. Wednesday, 8 p.m. Ask an Engineer. You're watching it now. And then Wednesdays, also today, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time is Show and Tell. These are all part of the Adafruit Live series. We've been doing more and more and more and more and more.
More.
Desk of Ladyada. We had a couple videos. What were they this week?
Okay, I had 2 videos. I did the Philips Hue Tap Teardown. So that is a really cool control switch for the Philips Hue lights, the IoT lights that we have at home. And what's really interesting about this controller is it doesn't contain a battery. It has a radio, but no battery. So it's powered by the clicking motion that when you press the button. So it's kind of interesting. So I take it apart and we look at like how is it made and like how does it harvest energy. And then we also like sniff the radio data. And then the video above is the @SamR Zigbee sniffer. So that's actually where I make the tool that I use in this video. And I take an @SamR chip and I put it into promiscuous mode, and then I pipe the data through a name pipe into Wireshark, and that's kind of fun. We get to watch all the radio signals around us, and you can decode them and see what's going on.
Yeah, it's noisy because we have a lot of IoT devices in our apartment.
Yeah.
It's noisy.
But that's so cool. It makes it really easy to show people that it works.
Yeah, one of the things I liked about the Philips light switch teardown that you did is you found the module, and then we went onto the site and we saw that they sell these modules, and Philips, they built it around this module, and they didn't use like any screws, like it was all snapped together. It was really neat design. It looks like someone came up with like, you have to turn on and off all these IoT light switches, you can't use batteries, or screws. You know?
Yeah, it's really interesting, like the clicking motion, you can watch the video, but basically it snaps a magnet back and forth to create a magnetic flux through a coil, which then of course, when you have a magnetic flux through inside of a coil, it induces current in the coil, and that little burst of current, it's like 10 milliseconds of 2 volts or 10 volts.
Yeah, you measured it on the scope.
It's
too.
10 volts at what,
This is quite a bit.
It was quite a chunk, yeah, on press and release. And then the radio just brings up, it's a MSP430, it boots up in that time and sends out a data packet and shuts down. So it can do that in that short of a period.
Yeah. So anyways, check it out. We're always doing things on desk with Ladyada, and I have some special treats. So Watch Tony D's desk kind of went on the road. We had a couple things.
On the holiday road?
Yeah, on the holiday road. It's a good song.
Holiday road.
Yeah. And Tony went to Maker Faire. This is the first time he went to Bay Area, and he did some videos. So we're actually going to pay him. We
pay him too. Don't worry, he's paid.
We're going to play them, and we have. So get comfy, because I like this because I was at many of the Maker Faires, including the first one, and it's neat to watch Maker Faire through someone else's eyes.
This is like a first-person view.
Yeah, but the first one is Circuit Playground at the DigiKey booth, and David was demoing it. So I'm going to show that, and then we're going to show a couple videos from Tony. So let's go to this one, and then we'll go to the next one.
Really want on one little platform. So, for instance, this is down here the microphone, sound sensing. This one is for capacitive touch. This is accelerometer on it. This is light sensor and temp sensor.
Okay, so big shout out to DigiKey. We're gonna have
we're
gonna have a bunch of Circuit Playground, DigiKey, Maker IO stuff soon. This is the start. You'll see us doing more and more. They're helping us get the word out and more for Circuit Playground, which we're having a hard time keeping in stock. That's a good thing. Don't worry.
We're making more today.
We're making tons. And then the next 2 videos are day 1 and day 2. Day 3 is a 20-minute long video, so we're not going to show that on the show tonight, but check out day 1, and then I'll go to day 2 right after that. So about 7 minutes of Maker Faire. So get comfy and enjoy the show.
Have a hot dog.
Hey, this is Tony from Adafruit, and this is day 1 of Maker Faire. It's Friday afternoon, and the fair is right behind me in San Mateo, California. It's about to head over and see what's going on. Tony from Adafruit, and it's the end of day 1. So short day, and I only scratched the surface, just kind of walked around and got kind of a lay of the land and saw a bunch of things. So I hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned, and tomorrow we'll have a full coverage of Saturday, the second day of Maker Faire 2016.
Okay, so that was video number 1. And as a Maker Faire, I guess, connoisseur, I think I'm allowed to say that. I like watching Maker Faire through Tony's eyes, maybe even more than going to Maker Faire, because like the way he's looking at all the stuff that I would want to look at. And so I can't wait until we have more of the 360 video technology.
Yeah.
So, you know, you'd be able to like...
Oh, that would have been really cool.
Yeah, so I think next year we'll have that. So we have the second video, and this one's really neat. So...
day 2.
Yeah, day 2.
A little more crowded.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Tony from Adafruit, and it's day 2 of Maker Faire. It's just the start, so let's go check it out.
This is the audio-visual log of the second day of Maker Faire. So I'll talk about interesting projects and show you little videos and pictures of them. And it's about 6:30 on the second day, so it's just about the end of the second day. And I found what is hopefully the quietest spot, although it's right next to the train and the bus depot. So you'll probably hear a little bit of the local flavor of Maker Faire. But anyways, let's talk about some of the cool things that I saw today. So the Bio-Curious and Counterculture Labs were biohacker spaces that had some cool things on display. So they had a bioprinter that could print different biological materials. They also had a worm viewer that was basically a microscope you could use to look at things. And I didn't see it, but I've heard that they've been working on a vegan cheese where they're trying to genetically engineer something that's the exact same structure as cheese, but made from, I think, bread or yeast or things like that. So really cool that they're working on interesting biohacking things like that. The Open APS project was probably my favorite project that I saw at the entire fair. So this is the do-it-yourself pancreas. Basically, type 1 diabetics have 2 different systems. They have an insulin monitor and an insulin pump that can measure their insulin level, and then they can inject insulin. But both those systems don't talk to each other. And so they're working on using a Raspberry Pi to use the insulin monitor to detect how much insulin they need and then tell the pump to inject that much insulin in, effectively doing what your pancreas does for a normal person. And it's just a really cool project that really embodies the hacker spirit. These are just a bunch of do-it-yourselfers that have gotten together because really the big medical companies have been somewhat afraid to build an all-in-one device like this. The technology is there, just no one wants to do it. So these people are just saying they're going to do it themselves, and it's really amazing to see what they've done. Massimo Bonzi of Arduino.cc gave his annual State of Arduino talk, and it's great to see just how big Arduino has gotten over the years and where Arduino has come from. And the big news is that they've announced the Arduino Create platform is open now for people to use, or it'll be open very soon. And it's basically a whole online system. Massimo describes it as letting you create a connected device in 10 minutes. So Arduino originally came about because people wanted to build hardware, in 10 minutes, build something that could blink lights or do interesting things. And so they're trying to do that same thing for connected devices or Internet of Things devices. So I think this will be a really cool platform, something to look forward to. KineticSteamworks.org had some really cool steam-powered things on display. It's just neat to see these old steam-powered things working. You can see them, you can smell them, you can hear them, you can feel the heat from them. Really cool. The Fun Bike Unicorn Club Racing had some really neat bikes on display. It was right next to the Power Wheels racing track, where people would have Power Wheels that they could spend $500 to modify and try to soup up and then race around the track. Really funny stuff, really cool display, kind of typical thing that you see at Maker Faire, and it's just really very entertaining. The Die Wire Bender was a really neat wire bending machine. Not the type of project that you see every day, and so it's kind of cool to see something like that. Looks like you could use it to make like sculptures or metal structures. The Open P&P was an open pick-and-place machine, where it's basically a build-it-yourself pick-and-place machine, and it's actually quite capable. So it has a vision system, and right now it can place 0603 parts, but he's working on getting it down to 0402 size parts, which are pretty tiny. So that's impressive that a do-it-yourself system could do that. Itai Ben-Sivi, who's the creator of the Pixies, which are these big 3-watt RGB LEDs in the store, had some really cool things on display. So he had a jacket from Burning Man that actually had some of the precursors to the Pixies on it. So really bright LEDs that were lighting up in really cool ways. But the really interesting thing that he was showing off was a guitar project where he put a bunch of LEDs on the guitar, and then he uses a DSP processor that can run a fast Fourier transform to detect the frequencies of notes being played and light up the lights. Very impressive, really cool project. The electric giraffe was out prancing around. So it's a really large metal giraffe structure, Burning Man project that you can get on and ride around, and really neat giraffe. Very cool, lots of blinky lights. It can even react. If you pet its head, it'll react to that. It plays sound and music. Really neat project.
Well, it's the end of day 2 at Maker Faire. It was a great day, lots of things going on. Hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for coverage of day 3, the last day of Bay Area Maker Faire 2016.
Okay, and our other series that we recently started is Pseudo Random with Colin, and we had the DIY component one, and the next one that's coming up is a collection of mice. Not mice, but mice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
Mice,
coming
mice.
up shortly. And
You're holding your hand and you point with.
Yeah. And Noah and Pedro will have layer by layer. You'll see their live shows, and we're going to show a couple other videos shortly. Next up, show and tell.
That's where I come in.
Yeah. Who's on the show and tell, lady?
Okay, let me tell you all about the show and tell. We started off with Tony Nicola, who had those videos that you just saw. And he's a little bit tired from a very busy week in Bay Area. He saw all sorts of cool stuff, but the good news is he made videos of almost everything he saw and took a lot of photos. So watch those videos. There's another video as well, the day 3 video. And also he's going to be posting lots of photos and recaps of his adventure at Maker Faire. He also got a microbit. I think he either bought one or somebody sent him one, and so he's interested in this little mini microcontroller board that every 5th grader in England has or is going to get, and so he's going to be experimenting with that, trying it out. We have Circuit Playground, which is kind of a similar, it's not Bluetooth enabled, it has a little bit more sensor and LED technology on it, so we'll see what are the similarities, what are the things we can learn from microbit and maybe integrate into Circuit Playground. What is microbit good for? Maybe we'll carry it here in the US. Noah and Pedro worked on an NPR radio. It's a 3D printed Raspberry Pi Zero controlled radio that all it does is play NPR, National Public Radio, also known as Noah and Pedro Radio. And so they made a really lovely 3D printed case, and they etched a topping for it, a top, like a plastic top. And you can see the Pi Zero, and it has an amplifier in it, and it's just a cool video. Check it out tomorrow. It'll be live, all about the NPR radio. Scott came back, and he says he wants to be the go-to person for quadcopter on show and tell. So
FPV.
Today he talked about FPV, first-person video, where you put the camera on the quadcopter or the drone, and it flies around, and then you have goggles, so you feel like you see what the quadcopter sees.
And I asked, because he said it displays through the transmission, the battery level and other information, and you said there's a chip that specifically can do video overlay.
Yeah,
that does that. That's
a
cool.
microcontroller takes the video. It has to be NTSC video. It's not HDMI. It's like NTSC video, and then overlays it so people. It's used in almost every video control room where they have the video stream and then they have the overlay.
Any blocky text is where it's
basically that blocky text that you get to tell you what channel is being played and what the volume is. It's an on-screen display. So he showed that off and talked about what it's like to use it and how you can use a monitor as well. So that's FPV. Steven showed off, he made his own infinity mirror. He even made the wood frame himself, sanded it, stained it, and then took half mirrored and full mirrored glass and then wedged some LED strip in between to make this cool Stargate LED.
It's an infinity mirror, and then it turns off and it's a regular mirror. It's cool.
It has multiple modes. It's independent mode, where it just lights up multiple colors. Off mode, where it's just a mirror, and then it can tether to a computer, and then the computer can control the lights to have a cool light effect.
Yeah.
So it was neat. Richard popped by and gave us a bunch of updates. He's building the little LED divas, the LED controllers that are kind of based off the Trinket for very easy NeoPixel control, multiple buttons to give you a whole bunch of effects using an AT-Tiny 85. He's also working on a puzzle room for Long Island, so like an escape room type thing. And he showed off some posters for it. He might be doing one for Manhattan, so maybe we'll go and check that out, and I think we can escape the room. Or we'll be trapped there forever. It'll be awesome, too. That would be great, just forever.
Yeah.
In a room full of electronics and mirrors and magic tricks. That's good.
I think that's what's been going on for the last 10 years.
Oh, this is the room? Yeah.
Yeah. That's okay.
It's true. Every day it's a puzzle. It's a puzzle room.
Yeah.
And then he's also planting spinach in his yard, and there's a critter that is eating his spinach. And so he has set up a Raspberry Pi camera to see if he can spot what beast or animal is chewing on this tasty spinach. I think it's a vegan engineer who is just, spinach looks really good, probably just walking by, nom, 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 nom. That's my best guess. But he thinks it's a squirrel.
Okay.
And he has a little robot that's going to maybe kind of thwack the squirrel or scare it, like a little robo scarecrow, which could be the future. And then finally, Charles had like a it was a variety show on the show and tell. He had his enable robotic hand, which is using with a feather and a servo driver to control the fingers, and also maybe do Wi-Fi for remote control. He also has a Tesla coil. He had one of those, it's like the static ball. It's not a Faraday ball. What's the name of the? Van de Graaff generator. That's the thing. He has a Van de Graaff generator, so that was cool. And then he had a Tesla coil, and that was also real. So he was lighting up, he held a fluorescent bulb near it, and it was wirelessly lighting. I'm sure that must have totally flipped out Tesla the first time he did it. He was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
That's cool. Wireless energy. And then he has a negative ion generator they had strapped to his belt, and he turned himself into like a negative ion emitter. And so he was controlling a ping pong ball on a table. Just by like waving his hand over it, the ping pong ball would follow because they're slightly ionized, I
In
guess.
like a minute and a half, it was kind of all the fun science experiments that you show kids or even adults to get interested in science. And
it was in 3 minutes.
And when I tell folks like what show and tell is, I understand that when I'm talking to people who don't know about this like maker world and electronics, they think I'm insane. But this even makes it I think it makes it better. But if they have this thing, and like there's this thing and this other thing, and they're going to show this thing, and I think they think I'm crazy. But if you want to have a really good time, and you have, especially if you have somewhere a kid, and they want to see something that's not magic, it's science. You can say like, it looks like magic, but it's science. And you wave your hand over a ping pong ball and it moves around. This is a fun little video to show. So it's probably already up on YouTube, but look for the show and tell for today,
Wednesday,
May 25th. And like right towards the end. And
that was cool. Thank you so much. So all of those participants get a show and tell sticker. Email support@Adafruit to get your lovely vinyl sticker.
To be on the show and tell, go to google.com/+Adafruit, and you'll see a link around 7:30 p.m.-ish. And because our show and tell circle is full, it might take a while for the invites to go out. If the invites don't go out, just make sure you look for the link and you can join that way. Okay. Back to Mailbag. We read these emails from you every week to our entire team at State of the Fruit, our weekly meeting, and we read these to you here on Ask an Engineer. Thank you, Adafruit. You guys are seriously the best resource for learning electronics. I wish there was more suppliers like you. Justin.
Short and sweet.
Yeah, we do.
Thanks.
Thanks, Justin.
I like how he says what he means and he means what he says.
That's it. All right, the Adafruit jobs board. Our solution to a problem, there's too much spam on jobs board.
And people want jobs, they're makers, and they want to maybe use their skills and make something and earn a living.
So this one, you might know something about this one, Ladyada. Someone, somewhere, is looking for an MIT shop technician, a summer temp. The MIT International Design Center, IDC, is looking for an innovative, detail-oriented, hands-on person to help upgrade and maintain the IDC shop offices and classroom facilities. Do you know anything about this?
You know, I know there was an MIT shop, but I actually believe that the MIT shop that I used was torn down because it was a very short building on the west side of campus. And I think it was like building, I don't actually remember the name of it, but it was like W15 or something. But I think it was torn down, and I think they built the International Design Center, which I think is a much bigger building. And at the time, you know, there was they didn't even have a 3D printer or a laser cutter or a CNC router. It was all very woodworking tools. I think
Okay.
this is a more high-tech
Yeah,
version.
if you want to use 3D printers, laser cutters, CNC routers, and small mill and lathe, and help students and more, this might be the job for you. So it's on adafruit.com/jobs. Okay.
Yeah, if you're into safety, teaching people are probably like, I want to build a thing, but I don't know what tool to use. You would be able to tell them, hey, a 3D printer or a lathe, or maybe this is a laser cut thing, or maybe you want to injection mold, whatever. You'll help them out. Probably very fun and crafty, very super chill, fun summer gig.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Next
of course,
up,
you get access to the laser cutter and all that good tools.
some open source hardware news. That's us. Pleased to announce what I think. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong. The first subscription box from a maker company like Adafruit. So here's our intro.
Nice intro.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Right now, it's an announcement phase. So just sign up and we'll notify you. And we're gonna be doing an AdaBox. It's a subscription box where you get different things from Adafruit every quarter. And this is gonna be-
With a theme.
Yeah, there's gonna be a theme, and we also want this to be for the largest amount of people out there, which is the people who don't do electronics yet. If you're an Adafruit fan, you'll like this, but if you're gonna try to get someone into electronics, an AdaBox is the easy way to do it because you just set it and forget it. You just know that a box is gonna show up. So that's kind of neat.
With cool stuff.
Yeah, and here's a little bit of a preview. We got this cool box here. This is actually...
That's a box.
That's a box, yeah. And so we have a little thing.
It's pink.
So we're joining the many companies. We've been looking around at subscription boxes and services for a while. I participated in a few of them. I just wanted to see what it would be like as a customer. And
I have the bolt port kit. I put that together. I
Yeah.
got that. That's like a little mini kit.
Yeah, and so we're gonna experiment. I mean, we're gonna take our time and do it right, but we want to see the interest level now. We have a lot of stuff already done, and then we have stuff we have to still finish. So that's our big news. Open source hardware company doing a subscription box. We'll see how it goes. Okay, Dronies, we're almost ready to start the judging of Dronies. There's still time though to enter and win.
It's really nice out, so this is a
Yeah.
good time to maybe get some drone footage, some quadcopter footage, basically something that flies.
Yeah.
I think if you had a helicopter,
And you're saying,
probably okay.
oh my gosh, if there was only a Dronies promotional video. Yep. But wait, there's more. here's Nimbus, the friendly cloud entity. We have an I/O update for this week. This is Adafruit IO. It's our Internet of Things service that's in beta. The I/O update for the week is the following. Say hello to Adam. Hey, Adam.
Hi, Adam.
So Adam is joining the I/O team. You can read a little bit more about Adam. He's going to be working on Adafruit IO. He's in Baltimore. He's worked on all sorts of cool projects. He's been a customer of Adafruit, and now he works with Adafruit.
Yay!
So anyways, you can check him out on Twitter and GitHub and see some of the things that he's worked on and more. And welcome aboard, Adam. So that's our announcement this week. Next up, Adafruit Learning System. Ladyada, there are 993 tutorials.
I know,
We're very close to 1,000.
So close to 1,000.
So what do you got going on this week?
I've got a lot of new products lately, so I've been kind of like priming the pump a little bit because I've been trying to get through a bunch of tutorials that I've been meaning to do. I've been wrapping them up in the hopes of maybe in a week or two we can get to the 1,000. 1,000 tutorials will be amazing, but for this week we've got the tutorial for the CharliePlex feather wings. We'll talk about that. Basically, it's the schematics, diagrams, code, examples, hardware details for the CharliePlex 105 LED feather wing with individual PWM for each LED. And then we also have a tutorial by Marco Schwartz, how to build a cloud-connected ESP8266 power meter. So this basically is a demonstration of how to measure power for something and then pop it over to Adafruit IO and also display that power on OLED. So you have both internet connectivity and then local visibility. We also have a tutorial for the other new product for this week, which is the Adafruit Max 98357. It's almost all the odd numbers, and well, not really. Never mind. Yeah.
Adafruit Prime.
Yeah, probably is Prime. I2S Class D mono amplifier. I'll also be talking about that on new products, but this is basically how to use it with a Raspberry Pi, wiring up I2S audio. This is our first I2S device, not I2C. This is an audio, digital audio to speaker amplifier. It's nice if you want to add amplified audio to one of your I2S projects, such as Raspberry Pi. A Pi Zero would be a good contender because they do not have analog output. And then I wrapped up a tutorial it took me quite a while to do because it's just so many steps, but I've been playing with DMR radio, and this is the MD380 Titera radio. It's an analog plus DMR, analog plus digital DMR amateur ham radio that's very popular with hackers and amateur radio enthusiasts because you get both analog radio at the 400 megahertz band, which is handy, but you also get DMR, which is a worldwide trunked system of repeaters that so I can talk to somebody in Philadelphia or Seattle or Germany on a digital radio using my local repeater, and it gets tunneled through the internet. So that's kind of cool. It uses the Motorola Turbo network, but it's a lot less expensive. In this tutorial, I show how to upgrade this firmware, to use this hacked firmware. You can change the screen, so mine says Ladyada, so I know it's my radio. How to install the user database. Some basic how to set up your code plug to program in your local repeater. A little bit of details about talk groups, color codes, and time slots. So just a getting started guide for this radio. We don't sell this radio, and we may never, but I thought it would be a handy tutorial for anybody who's just got their ham ticket. It's the cool new thing. Everyone's getting amateur licensing.
Yeah.
Very exciting. So this is a really great beginner radio.
Ham is back. We also do like Ham Sunday broadcasts and all that, so
Yep.
check that out. Okay, next up, time travel. This week there's some local news in time traveling. A local time disruption in the
Okay.
time continuum now. This is 1883. Brooklyn Bridge in New York City is open to traffic after 14 years of construction. So happy birthday, Brooklyn Bridge. We've walked across the Brooklyn Bridge many a times.
Wow, 14 years. Is this not? I mean,
That's how long it took to build.
That's almost not that
Yeah,
long.
and it was
considering how
opened.
big it is.
Yeah, it was open for use May 24th, 1883. And what's interesting is the bridge cost around $15.5 million in 1883, and that was about $380 million in today's dollars. And that's the Brooklyn Bridge.
Wow,
Kind of
it's a
iconic.
beautiful, beautiful bridge. We love
Yeah.
walking across it in the summer.
Yeah.
And so does about half of the people who
And
visit
so
New York.
does most of New York. Yeah, it's fun.
It's very busy.
Okay,
but
3D printing, here we go. The next Brooklyn Bridge will be 3D printed. Noah and Pedro are printing it out right now. 3D printing. This week we have a couple things. This is the Noah Pedro radio demo. And then we're going to show the full video too. So first the demo.
Demo it away.
Oh, you know what? I have to make sure the music isn't. Yeah, so you know what? By the way, I have to remember that if there's any copyrighted music, I can't play it because I don't know and I can't hear it through here. So
I think
I'm going to stop.
It's spoken word, but still.
Yeah, but I can't hear it at the same time.
Just believe us.
So now I'm going to show the making of, because that's the way safer way to show.
You gotta be careful.
Yeah, because like, you know, if you play copyrighted music, YouTube is allowed to kill you. It's the new terms of service. If you don't read it carefully before
a
you
little
click
gun comes out of the video camera right here.
That's what all the cameras and MacBooks do now.
They shoot you.
So anyways, so anyway, we'll be careful and we won't play any music through this, but here is how to make one of these.
Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another project video. I'm Noah Wise, designer here at Adafruit.
I'm PiGirl Zero, creative tech here at Adafruit, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Pi Zero radio project.
Yeah, so this is an NPR1 radio. This was actually by Todd Trace. He actually wrote the software in Node.js.
Yeah, so Todd does a lot of the work on Adafruit IO, and he wanted to come up with this project to show off the touch capacity sensor and the brand new I2S amplifier.
Yeah, his original idea was to mill it out of wood, since he's an avid woodworker. So he actually sent us quite a few different bits of cherry wood here, and we sort of collaborated on the project. So we put together a 3D printed enclosure, and we were going to combine CNC milling and 3D printing. So the cool thing about it is, like you were saying before, is that we have some controls. We've got some play, pause, and some volume buttons. But instead of using mechanical buttons, we're using capacitive touch buttons.
Yeah, so we're using the conductive filament from Protopasta, and we've actually used their filament before on our battery tester tweezers and our dual printed NinjaFlex LED gloves.
Yeah, that's right. You're probably wondering, you know, how do you connect wires to plastic? You can't solder to it.
Yeah, so we're connecting the wires to the buttons using bare conductive paint.
Yeah, we've used this on those other two projects as well. So it's a little paint that has conductive particles in it. It dries over time, so it works really well in this project. So on the outside of the enclosure, it's actually wood PLA. It's hemp PLA, and it gives you this kind of cool looking texture. So other components in the project, it is a Raspberry Pi Zero. It has an amplifier, like you were saying, and a speaker. You could have it battery powered, but we opted in to just make it powered from the USB port on the Pi. All the ports are accessible, so you can get to it. And everything was put together using Autodesk Fusion 360, so it's completely parametric. We're going to release the files so you can download it and modify it if you want to make a remix or something.
Yeah, so you also did all of the paths inside of Fusion 360 as well to do all of the
that's right.
CNC.
There's cam tools in Fusion 360. We're really new to it, so I had to do a lot of experimenting. That's why I have different pieces here. I opted in for making it a little bit smaller because the pieces of wood and the build volume on the other mill isn't super huge. So we tried different materials too. Instead of just wood, I thought it'd be really cool if you could see through the topper. So I picked up some acrylic. It's just normal acrylic, and we etched out the NPR logo that you can see there. And the cool thing about the design of it is that there's no hardware required to like mount the components. Everything just snap fits together, friction fit stuff, which works really well.
And this definitely is an update to most radio projects when you first start out with electronics. It utilizes software, 3D printing, design, as well as soldering.
That's right. So if you guys want to put together this project, we'll have a tutorial on the Adafruit Learning System. I'll have a full circuit diagram, and the software is available on GitHub. We'll probably put together a ready to go image so you can burn it to your SD card.
And with the updated Raspberry Pi Zero, we'll definitely be doing a lot more Raspberry Pi based projects, so stay tuned for that.
All right, guys, that's it for this one. Hope you guys liked the project. Let us know what you thought in the comments.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
We'll see you guys in the next one.
See ya.
Bye.
Okay. And there's one more. There's a time-lapse Tuesday.
I just see something that says Skull War.
Skull.
Skull.
Okay, and don't forget to catch Noah and Pedro on 3D Thursday, variety of 3D printing shows, the longest running 3D printing shows.
I just have a little talking to it. Hi, I'm Miss Gall.
Okay. Ladyada, before we get into new products, I gotta tell
Yes.
everybody something really important.
What?
Charlie wins the code, 10% off in the Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. That was my important breaking news, beep, beep, beep. Okay, so here it is. Ready?
Yeah.
New products. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
What's this? Why do they want it? What do they want?
What is this and why do you
Why
want it?
do you want to click the buy
Well, we
button?
now have the camera cables for the Raspberry Pi Zero. So the Raspberry Pi Zero was recently revised to be version 1.3. Version 1.3 comes with a connector so you can attach it to this cable that then goes to a Raspberry Pi camera, so you can add cameras to your Pi Zero project. Might be handy. You can do basic OpenCV and visual detection, take photos, can take videos. All sorts of projects are now possible with this camera connector, and we have both the cable in stock. It's a very custom flex PCB, and we have a kit where you get a Pi Zero, a camera, and a camera cable all in one. So that is another option for you if you would like to just kind of get started with some sort of video or photo project with your Pi Zero.
Okay.
And so that's a new party pack, project pack that we
Okay.
have.
All right, and then from what I understand, we have some other packs available too now.
This is a media center pack. A lot of people were asking us, hey, can you have a pack where like the SD card is pre-imaged to run OSMC? And we're like, that's a pretty good idea. So this pack is kind of everything you need to get started with making your own media center. You get a Raspberry Pi 3, which is the most fastest, newest Raspberry Pi. It has built-in Wi-Fi, but we also give you a Wi-Fi dongle because it's longer and it might be better for you to reach Wi-Fi or get better Wi-Fi throughput. You get an SD card that's an 8 gigabyte class 10 card that has been imaged with OSMC, which is a really awesome media center. I can even quickly demo it. You get an enclosure. You get a really good power supply that will be able to power your Pi even while it's doing like tons of Wi-Fi and HDMI stuff. You get a good quality HDMI cable, and you get a wireless mouse keyboard, which is really good. So your media center Pi can be next to your TV or on your, whatever, what is it called? Your hutch. The thing where you store your TV. What are those called?
Phone?
No, it's like, the little, not a carousel. It's like a thing that you hold, you put your TV on top of.
We have ours on a toolbox.
Okay, you put your toolbox. I keep forgetting the word, but there's a word for it, like a carousel or something. For your TV, you can put the Pi over there, and then you can, there's an RF remote, so you can use this. It doesn't even have to be line of sight, and you have a mouse and keyboard for controlling it. So
For your TV carousel.
I don't remember the word, okay?
I'm calling it TV carousel from now on.
Stop. It'll come to me in like 4 seconds.
Okay, so how do you want to display this? What
Well,
what
I
are
thought
you doing here?
I could just bring this up really high,
All right.
and then I could just get this stuff out of the way.
Okay.
So this is, I just have a small monitor set up so you can see. And then I've got this, oh, you know what? I hope I didn't, oh wait, just turn this off.
Everything okay?
Yeah, so this is OSMC, and you can like do all sorts of settings and network control. So this is that. But then you can also, I think you want to go back to OSMC. So using this controller, you can go back here. I don't have anything installed, but basically if you want to install apps or like watch YouTube, or you can install videos or download videos. To go back. Yeah, and so like there's all sorts of like control menus and stuff. It's one of the nicest setups for doing media center on a Pi. Like it's really, really fast, and I don't have any videos installed on here, and I wouldn't be able to play them legally even if I did. But you get this really handy remote, which is really useful, and Pi case, Pi, cable, power supply, Wi-Fi, and then this is that remote adapter. So you don't get the monitor, but you probably have a TV at home on your carousel, whatever.
I'm thinking that's a good thing to call it. That sounds like a lot of fun.
No,
Hey,
carousel is something that rotates.
Let's go to the TV carousel. I'm just saying, it sounds more fun.
Anyways, so this is a kit. So there's a version that comes with a Pi if you just want all-in-one ready to go setup, and you can plug and play. And there's a version without a Pi in case you already have a Pi. You can use it with a Pi B+, 2, or 3. The 3 is best though because it's quad core and it has like the fastest processor of all of them. So
Okay.
there you go.
And next up, by popular demand, requests, and more, it's what you wanted. It's what you've been asking for. It is PiGirl.
PiGirl Zero.
PiGirl Zero.
The zeroist.
So real quick
PiGirls.
though, we show the case, but we don't include it.
Doesn't come with a case.
It doesn't come with a case. Doesn't come with a case. Doesn't come with a case.
But does it come with a case?
It doesn't come
no.
with a case. Doesn't come with a case. But we have to show it because otherwise people are gonna say, "Well, that's not."
What is this?
Yeah. So okay, Ladyada, just show it on the overhead.
So this is the PiGirl Zero, and I actually took this one apart a little bit to show it off. So you get all of these parts and not the 3D printed case. Also, I don't think it comes with a battery because it's difficult to ship batteries by air, and so you can add it to your cart, and it adds. You can add it to the cart while checkout, but it doesn't come with it automatically. But you get Pi Zero, you get the TFT, which is a really lovely little monitor. You get, hold on, this button came loose. You get 2 of these button boards. So the wiring is pretty easy because you can solder the buttons directly onto here, and then we also get some silicone wire that's really handy for making all these power connections. A power boost for powering off a battery. You can recharge it and take it on the go. A USB jack, so if you want to connect an external USB, like Wi-Fi adapter, for example, to download games or install content or update it. And a little micro on-the-go adapter. So this is a really cute little gaming platform. And let me see if I can, yeah, now it's on. So let me see.
It's a little bit of the Hello World project for makers I've seen because it combines so many different things. You get a Pi, you do 3D printing, you do a little bit of electronics. So if you're thinking of a project,
yeah, this is a really
might be
good
for
project.
you.
It's not a great first project.
No.
I think this is better if you have a little bit of experience because you have to burn an SD card image, you have to do some soldering, and like we don't teach you how to solder in this project, and there's a lot of like wiring that's a little bit delicate because you have to cram it all into this case, and of course 3D printing with different filaments. So you may want to have this be as your like dessert project, like maybe build a couple of easier projects, like something like the Media Center PC project is very easy. You just plug everything together and it runs.
Yeah.
With this, there's a lot of construction involved, but you know, in the end, you get this really cute portable game. And I took this off. It has these shoulder buttons that pop in when you put it together, and it's just a really fun little project. It's not a super fast emulator. I do want to warn people. It can play Nintendo games. Super Nintendo, not so much. So think of it as like Nintendo and earlier it can pretty much do. There's no audio because the PiGirl, the Pi Zero doesn't have audio. However, you can connect a USB to audio converter here if you want to have headphone output, or you could use an I2S amplifier, which we'll be talking about, and modify it to add a speaker, but that's not included.
Okay.
But it comes as a project pack now. Yay, all of these
Alright.
parts. Put it together. You'll have
Okay.
something nobody else has.
So we're at the end, the star of the show. Tonight beside you, Ladyada. And this is why the code was Charlie Wing. Are these?
These are, wow, this is a really great video. So this is Charlie Wing. These are PWM controlled 105 LEDs on a feather wing that plugs into any of our 50 feather boards that you can get. There's a large array from Bluetooth to cellular to Wi-Fi to data logging to GPS. There's just a huge range of all the different feathers that you can use, and this lets you add a whole bunch of LEDs in a single color. So we do have, you can have 8x8, so you can have 7 segments, you can have alphanumeric, you can have an 8x16, but what's nice about this is first off you get these really beautiful jewel effects, the colors are very nice and vivid, and secondly you can individually PWM each LED, which is very unusual. Usually you can't do that. So each LED has 8-bit control. You can dim them so you see this wave of color flowing through. That's each LED being PWM'd dim to bright and back to create a wave effect. So I can show that on the
Yeah,
overhead.
I have a couple other things. So this is
Okay.
just a photo.
Yeah, so you can see
another.
they all look like this because there's the
Yeah.
controller
But
and then all the
This
LEDs.
is below.
So we crammed as much LEDs as you can. 7 LEDs high means you can do text scrolling, some basic animations. Comes in red, blue, and yellow, white.
Yeah.
The yellow, this is really very bright. And the nice thing is all of it's done with a controller chip, the chip on the left, which runs over I²C. So you can use this with any of the feathers without having to actually multiplex all the LEDs. Like one of the things, if you've seen other CharliePlex designs, oftentimes the chip itself is controlling all the LEDs on and off, which is fine, but it's very, once you get to like more than 25 LEDs, you have to spend a lot of processor time doing that. Also, you rarely get to have this really nice fading effect because it's just so hard to control the LED so fast. This chip does it all for you, which is super sweet. Just kind of does the whole thing. It runs over I²C. It's very easy. It doesn't add a lot of cost. So I can demo this, and then while I'm demoing this, I think the I2S amp. I forgot to tell you about that. It's a new product. Can you drag it while I demo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do your thing.
So this is the feather, and so for people who may not know about it, it's a portable, battery powerable microcontroller system that has, this one has a 32U4, but you can also have a Cortex M0. It can have a Wi-Fi STM32. We have Bluetooth and cellular and all sorts of different things, all in the same shape. So what's nice is that you can plug in these feather wings. They're sort of like Arduino shields, but much smaller, and they add capabilities. So this is a demo for the feather wing. So it shows you different brightnesses. You can draw squares and circles and scroll text, for example. And then it kind of just repeats. You get the same happy face, sad face, hello. And then I'll show, that's blue. I've also got like white. So this is the white LED one. And I just think these are really beautiful because of each LED is incredibly bright, but because it's CharliePlexed, the amount of current required actually isn't that high. The whole thing draws maybe, even with most of the LEDs on, it draws only like 10 milliamps, a lot less than you'd think. So that's white, and then I'd show, I got all the different colors. Maybe I'll just show another color. And then here's that I²C chip that actually does all the control. You just basically tell it, hey, light up this LED with this PWM brightness, and it does it. Hold on, on, there you go, green. So this is the pure green, a really, really bright green color. So
Okay.
great for any kind of matrix display. If you want only one color, then this is great for you.
Okay. Speaking of the matrix, there was a glitch in the matrix. We're actually going to go back in time a little bit. This is the one before that one.
Yeah, it's
All
fine.
right, so what is this?
Well, because it's rare that we have two Adafruit products, but this week we're cranking through. This is actually an oldie but goodie. This is the I2S mono amplifier, and here I have it wired up to a Raspberry Pi, and you can see you basically connect a speaker directly to the output up to 3 watts, and this will take I2S audio, which is a digital audio format, and then drive a speaker. The reasons you would use this, your microcontroller or processor doesn't have analog audio. The Pi Zero doesn't have an analog audio output. It only has I2S audio. A lot of microcontrollers and chips, if they do DSP, they don't have analog out. They have I2S out that then has to be converted to analog. It's easier for them to send out the digital signal, and also it's less noisy because you don't have static or high-speed signals affecting, or the power supply creating fluctuations. So if you are, maybe you're making an audio system with a Raspberry Pi, you'll know that if you've done that, you know that the headphone audio is pretty good, but it's not like hi-fi quality. There's a little staticky effect. You have to really turn up the volume and turn down your amp, and if data is being transferred over Wi-Fi, sometimes you'll hear it. Whereas with I2S, you don't get that because it's a pure digital signal generation. So you use 3 pins, other than power and ground, of course. There's the green, yellow, and blue wires for I²C data, I²C bit clock, and left-right channel. And that basically encodes all of the data. You don't need the M clock signal, which some I2S amps need. What's nice about this amplifier, it doesn't have it. So you basically get the simplest, easiest, most compatible I2S amplifier because it uses one less pin than this pin that isn't available on the Pi and some other processors. But it works with pretty much every I2S audio. You just wire it up and like, boom, audio comes out. And you can adjust the gain. There's 5 different gain levels by connecting a resistor. And you can also change whether it plays left only, right only, or the default, which is a stereo mix. It combines left and right channels to give you, one speaker that has both channels in it. It's just like a super easy, super low cost way to basically, instead of having an I2S to analog and then analog amplifier, it's like all in one. Very convenient.
Ladyada, there's new products. You did it. Congratulations.
Yay.
Okay. Well, whatever we have in stock and you want to buy it, you should use this code like right now.
No.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna speed around some questions.
I'm ready to speed it.
So start typing in your
I'm gonna play
questions
Super
for
Mario
the
3.
engineer here, folks. First up, can you use the feather wings with the Arduino Uno if you wanted to?
Maybe, maybe not. It depends on which one. The I2C ones, yeah, you probably can just wire them up, connect clock data, 3-volt ground, and it'll probably actually just work because all the code is Arduino compatible, but some of them may not, and some of them are 3-volt logic, and they're very picky about that, so you could possibly damage them with a 5-volt Arduino.
Yeah, okay.
So,
if
unclear.
using the BN055 in a robot, is there a way not to have it move around to calibrate the accelerometer and magnometer? I think it's magnometer.
It should auto-cal. This is one of the things that's done very internally to the B&O. Like, it does auto-calibration, which is handy, but you have to have it be steady and still for a bit until it calibrates. And I don't know anything about it. So you should check. Maybe Bosch has an app note by now about that because it's something people have asked a lot about, but it's all done internally. It's not even done in the firmware. It's done inside the chip itself.
Okay, next up. Someone wants to know, I'm not going to be able to answer a lot of the questions about AdaBox, but I'll say something. So they want to know, will the AdaBoxes vary the contents from person to person? If someone received 2 boxes from different people as a gift, will it be the same thing? Well, for each quarter, we'll probably have most of the same things, but if there's surprises in different boxes, then it's
going to be mostly...
Yeah, there's a potential that it would be different if you're receiving 2 AdaBoxes at the same time.
But not significantly different because
Yeah.
the first quarter, the first box is going to
Yeah,
have a
we want to always
theme.
keep it fun and surprising.
There might be small variations, but the overall stuff is going to be the same.
Okay, what can you do with dot star that you can't do with NeoPixels? Do they use more power, and do dot stars work with Fade Candy?
Dot stars don't directly work with Fade Candy, but dot stars, you can drive them a lot faster, and they have much smoother PWM because the PWM is much faster, so they're excellent for light painting, and NeoPixels are not good for light painting. NeoPixels update too slowly, so they have a bitmappy effect. Dot stars are very smooth, and because you can drive them much faster over SPI, you can DMA them over multiple different platforms, and we have our Wi-Fi Fade Candy. It's not a Wi-Fi Fade Candy, but it's basically a wireless processing open pixel control that works with dot star because we had to push data so fast that we basically, in the end, we could only really do it with dot star LEDs and not NeoPixels.
Okay, I'm working on a project with a UNCL4010 VIN for 5-volt power, right? Also, isn't the int pin for an interrupt?
Yep.
Okay. All right, next up. The Arduino Duo has been discontinued. I ran across the Adafruit Wicked Wi-Fi Feather, and it will work as a microcontroller to provide similar performance as the Duo. If not, what do you suggest?
It will, but it's got a real-time operating system going on there that makes it really good for wireless and Internet of Things projects. So it's not like the Duo where you control the entire core on its own. There might be derivatives of the Duo you can use. I actually was never really a big fan of the Duo. There's a couple bugs that really bugged me about it, and I think that I've moved on to the Cortex M0, the Arduino Zero line instead.
Okay. Next question. Would we have custom PCB colors for AdaBox? Maybe. You know,
Maybe.
We're going to be working on some stuff.
don't
Do you
know.
plan to bring AdaBox to Canada at some point? So we're going to start in US, and then we're going to see what we can do internationally. Maybe we would have some of our resellers or some of our bigger partners help who have a way to do international in a smart way.
Yeah, it's a little challenging.
Yeah.
But we want to make sure that the first group has a good experience, so we're starting with only.
Yeah, I can answer
US.
this one. If you
Yeah.
don't mind answering what kind of margins you get on Pi Zero, I'm curious how they are sold so cheap. So here's the thing. The margins on the Pi Zero are not really. I mean, they're not.
Yeah, there's none.
There's not really.
None.
And so the way that we do
Negative.
it. The way we do it is we put in as many as we can ship because when we get them, they go fast. And then a lot of people want to get packs and kits, and maybe they'll pick up something else. And there's also kind of a cause behind this, which is we want people to get these as fast as they can. There's not that many, and there's not that many people selling them, and we do limit it.
And there's a reason why there's not a lot of people selling
And
them.
we do limit it one per customer because people were putting them on eBay and more.
Yeah, this
so-
is mostly community.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for doing it for the community, it would really not make a lot of sense. And that's
Yeah.
why you'll see the companies that often would be like Element 14 is not taking part in the Zero
It-
MCM.
yeah.
They're like we don't care to do that.
We try to build Adafruit so we can do things like this. We'll be able to probably have a lower priced circuit playground offering over time. And like right now it's at a good price because of some things we're trying to do. So similar, like we're willing to invest in the idea of these getting in the hands of people. So that's where it's a little tricky. Next up, any experience with audio waveform output from Feather, data log, or DAC pin?
You absolutely can do it. That DAC will be able to do. There's actually a demo that is for the Arduino Zero that plays waves. You can play basically waves off of an SD card. Check out the tutorial on arduino.cc.
Okay. And last question of the night. Eagle question. I downloaded the L3GD20 object from the net, but it has a different layout than the 10DOF breakout design. Does it matter if the pins are different in different positions in the schematic?
In the schematic, no. I mean that you'll as long as the hardware is the same and the pins are oriented right, it's just a different ordering. Some people like to have the pins go in the actual physical order, and some people like it to be in a logical order. So it really depends on the person who made that object, what they wanted, how they like to design the object.
All right, there's one last question, and I'll answer this one. Can you recommend any documentaries? Yes. Go on YouTube and look for Freedom Downtime. You can see a version of me that's 20 years younger when I was protesting outside of the Kevin
I was
Mitnick.
like, he's at the window.
Yeah, Kevin Mitnick went to jail, and it was a mess, and we were trying
Hack the planet.
We were trying to help him out and get him out. Anyways, okay. That's the show tonight, Ladyada.
Okay.
Let's do a trivia question and get out of here. What are the rules?
Rules are if you've won something before from the show, you can't win again. Only one winner per lifetime, my lifetime. So give everybody a chance to enter and win a fabulous prize. The fabulous prize today is, what should we give away? I'm gonna give a Charlie Wing.
Yeah,
pack or
I think a Charlie Wing.
Let's give away Charlie Wing.
Yeah.
You choose the color.
Yeah.
You can choose a color, but a Charlie Wing, and you can connect it to any other microcontroller. Check the tutorial
Yeah.
for the I2C and power, so you can use it with. If you don't have a Feather, you can, for example, use it with an Arduino. It'll work just
Yeah. Okay. Well, the first person to type to answer this question in the chat, and I'll be looking at multiple chat rooms, so whatever the digital bits do.
fine. Then
is,
there's the world of
yeah.
bones.
Yeah. So the trivia question for this week it's from our time travel post. Who is the American psychologist and industrial engineer who is one of the first working female engineers holding a PhD? She was said to be the first true industrial organizational psychologist. Whew. So if you go to the time travel post for this week, you're going to learn something new. And if you get there the fastest, it is not Kevin Mitnick. It's not Free Kevin.
It would be great if it was Kevin Mitnick.
Yeah.
It's not.
So all you have
He
to-
was not the first female PhD
Yeah.
industrial scientist.
Well, you can maybe answer a question when people are trying
Yeah.
to type. Can you use the Arduino MKR with the Charlie Wing?
You can, but you just have to wire the wires. So, but if you match up the wires, it'll work.
Okay. Oh, here we go. In
Facebook.
Facebook, it's
Wow.
Felipe Silver, congrats. Congrats.
Congrats, Felipe Silva.
Yeah, so congratulations if you go on our site. It's Lillian Evelyn Moeller
Gilbreth.
So congratulations. Felipe, email support@adafruit.com and choose one of the
Charlie Wings.
Charlie Wings. And
Pick a
that
color, any color.
was trivia for this evening, folks. Okay, well, that's it. We'll see everybody next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Thanks so much. Don't forget, all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern time tonight, Charlie Wing. This is how we keep doing this. This is the only way.
Yeah,
This is it.
these 3D printed PiGirl Zeros don't print themselves.
Yeah. And, you know, if you want to see companies like Adafruit around, just pick up a kit, use the discount code, and that actually works.
We don't have like trust funds or anything.
We
Like,
we have no net, which is exhilarating and scary all at the same time.
Whee!
But it just means that we're held to a pretty high standard with our products and what we do, and we won't let you down. We'll keep doing this. Like, we'll keep doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you all the Adafruit team members, all the Adafruit folks that are here working late, and thanks to all of our remote team members that help out, or people here in the building.
It's a team. It's a big team.
Yeah.
100 people involved in all this.
It's more than that. And we'll see everybody next week. Again, don't forget, Coach Charlie Wing. And as usual, a picture of a cat.
He's still alive.
Yeah. And here is your moment of Zener. Later, folks.
Later.
Thank you.